explanation of the chapter, let us move on to looking at the new words that have occurred through the lesson. The first word is favored. The author says that Charles Hooper was a very favored young man. The meaning of the word favored here is that everyone liked to be in his presence. He was an appreciated personality in a social group. So he was favored, he was liked by his friend. A person who is liked by his friends is a person who is hale, hearty, he's not suffering from illnesses, he's not bogged down with extra pressure, he's able to cope with his life well, he's doing well in life, he's prosperous, he's successful. That is the kind of man who has a grin on his face. And the second word here is genuine, and he says genuine grin. Grin is a smile, a huge smile, and genuine grin. The author uses the adjective genuine for his grin because he was not faking it. It wasn't artificial. It's not like he was hiding something in his closet and yet smiling on the surface. It was a genuine grin. He was actually happy with his life. So that is the kind of life Charles Hooper led before the accident. The third word we are looking at is autumn. In the lesson, William D. Ellis says that one autumn evening when he left from his office, he met with an accident. Now what is autumn? Autumn is the fourth season. We know monsoon, we know summer, we know winter. The fourth season is autumn and the fifth season is spring. Autumn is what in Hindi is called Patjhad. That is when all leaves, the trees shed the leaves. So that is autumn. It is before the advent of winter. When winter has to come in, before winter in abroad, they actually have a couple of months that is not autumn, not winter, but winter is going to come. So that season is known as autumn. The fourth word is confinement. When Duke is sent to kennel, he comes back to Charles Hooper's house after 4 months of confinement. Confinement is like a prison, like a cell in which a person is holed up. Because here in Charles Hooper's house, Duke was quite free. He could move around through the house. He was not kept chained. But when he was in the kennel for 4 months, he was tied down in the cage. So he has come out of confinement. So there is a huge excitement for a living being who comes out of confinement after 4 months. So that is why that charging, the way he jumped on top of Charles Hooper, because he had come from 4 months of being tied, separated from his master. The fifth word we are looking at is quivering. Quivering is shivering. So Duke was quivering, and the bellow, the sixth word is bellow, because he was shivering before he went and jumped onto his master, and he gave out a bellow. Bellow is the cry of an animal. It may be out of pain, it may be out of excitement. Here it is the sheer pleasure of meeting his master after so many months. So Duke gave out a bellow. The seventh word is missile of joy, because when Duke pounced on top of Charles Hooper, he was like a missile of joy. He is something that is charging towards him like a missile, but it's not destructive. It's happiness for Duke, for Charles. So it's like a missile of joy that was charging towards Charles Hooper. The eighth word is instantly. At that very instant. The word is instantly. So at that very moment. Because the moment Duke pounced on Charles Hooper, at that very instant, Duke knew something is wrong with my master. So that is the meaning of the word instantly. The next word we are looking at is presence. He says Duke's presence did not affect Charles Hooper. Marcy had brought the dog home with the hope that the pet dog being there will somehow affect Charles Hooper in a way that he will come out of his depression. He will not feel so sad, so helpless. But Duke's presence, Duke's physically being there with Charles Hooper made no difference to him, as if he is not there. That is the meaning of this presence. And the 10th word we are looking at here is slacked. Marcy says that Charles Hooper was losing weight and his shirt hung on his shoulders as if a loose shirt is hanging on top of a hanger. So it slacked, it fell, it drooped very badly. So this man who used to be healthy and fit once upon a time is now going on losing weight and has started looking like an ill man. Moving on to the next word, the 11th word is a phrase, severe face lines. Marcy is saying that Charles Hooper developed severe face lines like cement on his face because he used to lie on his bed and keep looking at the ceiling wall. So he is not talking, he is not smiling. So when face muscles are left like this, then they develop lines, wrinkles out of illness, and they were so severe because he is into a state of depression. The next word is U-shaped in anticipation. Anticipation means to wait for something. At the end of a letter we say waiting for your reply. Waiting in anticipation. Anticipation is I am waiting for your reply. So here Duke stood in a U-shaped position in anticipation. Anticipation of what? That perhaps my master wants to take me for a walk. The 13th word is exhausted. They tried to walk but could not take more than 2 steps and sat on the chair. Charles Hooper sat on the chair all exhausted. Exhausted means extreme tiredness. You are so exhausted that you cannot move any further. Absolutely tired, like you feel after perhaps you return from a picnic. The next word is jabbed his nose. Duke jabbed his nose at the elbows of Charles Hooper. So get this picture, Charles Hooper is lying on the bed and the dog here is coming, and with his nose he is tugging his elbow. So that is Duke jabbed his nose at Charles' elbow. He is nudging him that let us go for a walk again. The next word is tugged. Tugged means to give a pull. To give a pull so that let us do something. Here Duke is giving a tug to the leash. Steadily. Steadily means without losing patience. When something is done at a steady, at a same increasing rate or same decreasing rate. So when there is a difference, but the difference is same every day, then that is a steady movement. So here there is a steadily they increase their amount of walk. Then prescribed. Prescribed, the doctor prescribed physiotherapy. What advice the doctor gives on his prescription, on the sheet, doctor's sheet, is a prescribed prescription, because this is what the doctor has medically told this person to follow. And what he had told him to follow, he had asked him to follow physiotherapy on a daily basis. What is physiotherapy? He is a trained doctor who comes and flexes and moves those muscles and those joints which have perhaps become jammed. Because here this person has a paralytic attack on the left side and he cannot move his hand and left leg. So the physiotherapist is coming and exercising those muscles. So that is physiotherapy, a physical exercise that is provided by another person. The next word we are looking at is gradual scale. Gradual scale again is something which is increasing or decreasing at a steady rate. Gradual, very slow. The dog never pushed his master to a point where the master would not be able to perform. It was such a gradual scale, the increase in their walk. The next word is intersection. Intersection is a crossroad where two main roads are meeting. So when they reach the intersection, that is the end of their lane. So it was a milestone for Chuck Hooper as well as Duke, because they were able to cover a considerable amount of distance from the house till the end of the lane. The next word we are looking at is campaigning. The author says Duke started campaigning for a second trip on a daily basis. So Duke is trying, he's attempting that they should go once more in the day. Not just take one trip in the day, but take 2 trips. So he started campaigning for it. He started requesting for it, attempting, trying to achieve it. That is campaigning. The next word is stability and endurance. Stability and endurance means you are doing something and you are becoming proficient. You are becoming capable, more and more better in your performance. So there is stability because you are able to do that task for a longer period of time. And there is endurance. Endurance because you are able to bear much more. So here what is happening is that Charles Hooper along with Duke was able to cover a longer distance every day, maybe once one more picket fence but a more distance, and he was able to bear more pain because now he was not getting exhausted after 4 steps itself. So in any kind of physical coaching and when sports is involved, there is a lot of stability and endurance building that the coach does. He builds your endurance, that your muscles are able to take more and more of vigor. The next word is screech. When Charles Hooper is sitting with his friends in his house, he heard the screech of brakes outside. It is an onomatopoeia, wherein the author is telling us that a car halted from a great speed to sudden halting. There is a screeching sound that the car gives out. So it is actually the sound of a car meeting with an accident. So screech. And the last word we are looking at here is drugged. When Marcy took Duke to the animal hospital, he was drugged. Drugged in the sense he was given some such medication, some such drugs, so that he is in a subconscious state wherein he is not enduring the pain, he is not feeling the pain. It is like a combiflam that is given to us, so that the dog was drugged so that he does not feel the pain. With that we have come an end to the word meanings of this lesson. Now let us go ahead and look at the questions that are based on this lesson. The first question in the textbook is answer the following questions by choosing the correct option. This type of question is also asked in the examination, wherein they give you one sentence from the textbook and they give you various options to answer a question that is asked on that sentence. Now what you will notice is that out of the 4 options that are given, it's not 6 standard, so it's not going to be like one is correct option and all the others are wrong. Almost all of them will seem correct. So you have to choose that which is most apt, because although all of them are seeming like the correct answer to the question, there is one and only one answer that is going to get you that 1 mark there. The other 3 will get you a 0 there. So you have to be very careful in choosing that option which is most apt. The third option is he did what he wanted, and the fourth option they have given us is he was capable of playing games. So when the author is saying everything was going for him, everything was going for him, he had everything that a man aspires for, probably correct. People admired him, yes, of course, he has everything going for him, people admired him. He did what he wanted, not really. He did what he wanted does not imply everything was going for him. He was capable of playing games, also not really. When you say everything was going for him, the author does mention that he used to play football for his university team. But when he says everything was going for him, he is not implying that he was capable of playing games. So the first 2 options are probably seeming right, the third and the fourth is not. In a question like this, you have to do trial and error and eliminate what does not seem probable. So we are left with 2 options here. He had everything that a man aspires for, people admired him. Of these 2 options, first one will be the correct implication of the sentence.
Choose the right kindergarten, a right bag, and matching bottle to go with. The right school, the right friends. Choose the right subjects and score well. Be an expert in all. The right teacher, and make sure that they like you. Choose the right timing, the right bus, and take a cab if getting late. The right train, and don't stand near the gates. Mind the pockets. Better get into ladies' compartment, and make sure your mustache hasn't started coming. Choose the right study time and forget games, IPL, IHL, rock and metal, guitar, X. The right group, and be a model to your brother. Seriously. Choose the right syllabus, the right test paper. Keep guessing questions for exams. Choose the right branch, the right college, the right stream. Choose the right career. Lucky to have a father's business to take care of and a father to allow that. The right counselor, the right form, and make sure the project is submitted on time. Choose the right website and rely on your friends for more information. Oblivious of the sites they have been to, there is no end to your woes. Getting better with every step you climb up the ladder. The summer vacation shorter, the bucket list bigger, the night darker, the books heavier. The only light you have is your friends ahead of you. Probably he is right. Ever thought how he got the direction? No more spending your energy and money on coaching classes. No more missing classes for rain, rally, and nonsense. Get your interest back in subjects through our creative ways of teaching. Doubts, concepts, applications, all explained through one vibrant animation. Subjects covered by multiple teachers with repeat telecasts. Special programs only for basic foundation and paper analysis. Personality development, career counseling, admissions, hobbies, all covered. A new approach to study with long-term perspective. So sit back comfortably in your homes and watch Study Spectrum TV channel.
In question number B, Duke never jumped on Chuck again because, and the four options are Duke was paralyzed and unable to jump. Option 2, Chuck was angry with Duke for jumping at him. Option 3, Duke realized that Chuck was unwell and could not balance himself. Option 4, Marcy did not allow Duke to come near Chuck. Now, of these four options, it is very clear that only one is seeming as the correct answer, unlike the first question. So, of the four options, Duke was paralyzed and unable to jump is absolutely not correct. Nothing had happened to Duke and that's why he could not jump on his master at all. The second option, Chuck was angry with Duke for jumping at him. Nothing like that. When Duke jumped on Chuck, Chuck did not get angry with him at all. He did not display his anger that you cannot jump at me. Option number 3, Duke realized that Chuck was not well and could not balance himself. Yes. The moment he jumped on him and his master lost his balance, he realized, the dog realized that my master is not well and so I should not jump on him anymore. Fourth option, Marcy did not allow Duke to come near Chuck. Not true, because all the time, even though he did not jump on him, the dog used to curl up and sit next to his bed. So it's not as if Marcy did not allow, she very much allowed it. So for question B, we are going for option 3. Duke realized that Chuck was not well and could not balance himself. So he did never jumped on Chuck again. Looking at question 3, the author says that Duke knew his job. The author says that Duke knew his job. The job was, what was the job that Duke, the dog, knew? That is his job. And the four options are to look after Chuck. Second, to get Chuck on his feet. Third, to humor Chuck. Fourth, to guard the house. So of these four options, again, In clarity, we can see some options that do not fit in as the answer at all, so we can eliminate them, and those which are seeming probable, we weigh them and pick the best option. First one, to look after Chuck, probable. Duke realized that now his job was to look after Chuck, seems like a probable answer, but don't as yet go and tick it. Let us look at the other options also. To get Chuck on his feet, more probable. That Duke realized that his job is now to get Chuck on his feet because he is completely bedridden and he wants him to make him walk, more probable. Third option, to humor Chuck. To humor Chuck means to entertain him, not at all. Duke never got into the phase of entertaining his master because his master is feeling depressed. No, he never ever did that. So, third option is not even a probable answer. Fourth option, to guard the house. Now, all dogs automatically guard the house. But the author says that Duke knew his job. Here, his job is to guard the house. No. So, it is not an answer to this option. We are weighing between option 1 and 2. One is to look after Chuck and the other is to get Chuck on his feet. So, of these two, which is looking more probable, more apt to the story? So, we are going with option 2, to get Chuck on his feet. Then the last question, dash even Duke's present didn't reach Chuck. Why? First option, Duke was locked in his kennel and Chuck couldn't see him. Second option, Duke hid himself behind the bedpost. Third option, Duke had come to know that Hooper was not well. And fourth option, Hooper was lost in his own grief and pain. So, of these four, even Duke's presence didn't reach Chuck. So, the fact that Duke is present in the room, now he has come back from the kennel, but that did not affect Chuck in any way. Why? So, what is the reason for it not affecting Hooper? First option they are saying is that Duke was locked in his kennel and Chuck couldn't see him. No. Even Duke's presence is when Duke comes back from the kennel. So obviously first is not the option because Chuck could see him, he was in the house, but yet his presence was not felt by him. It did not affect him. Second option, Duke hid himself behind the bedpost. Not at all. Duke used to be beside the bed where Chuck could very clearly see him. So second option is also ruled out. Third option, Duke had come to know that Hooper was not well. So does it fit in? Duke had come to know that Hooper was not well. Even Duke's presence didn't reach Chuck. It is because Duke had come to know that Chuck is not well and that's why his presence did not reach Chuck. No, is not the case at all. Duke knew that his master is not well. But because of that, Chuck is not realizing that Duke is there in the house. No. So what are we left with? We are left with the fourth option. Hooper was lost in his own grief and pain. That is the correct answer. Hooper was so lost looking at the ceiling fan, so lost in his own grief and pain that the fact that Duke is now present in his house, sitting next to his bed, did not make a difference to him. It's as if he is alone. This is the 0.1 mark of a person who is in depression. That he may be with someone and yet he is feeling all alone. So his presence is not being felt. Chuck is not feeling the presence of Duke in the room because he is too lost in his own pain and grief. So for question D, we are going for option 4.